Hi guys, welcome back to Vlogmas.
Rock and roll la la, one happy man, one happy land. Do do do, Christmas again and again. There's no.
Hello guys, welcome back to Vlogmas. Today I'm going to be telling you about all the books that I have read so far this year. My goal for the 2025 reading year was 10 books, and I've got 11 under my belt. I am someone who truly enjoys reading, but I'm slow at it, and I get burnt out really easily. So I'll go a couple months and read like 2-3 books a month, and then I won't read for months, and then I'll get back into it. But it's also, like, I don't force myself to read, because I don't want to, like, become icked out about it, like I was, like, as a student. So I just read whenever I feel like it, and yeah, that's it. I've got my little energy drink from 7 Brew. I've got my laptop. I've got my couple books, my Kindle, and I'm ready to tell you about all of these reads. 11 books total, 4 being audiobooks, and yes, I do count audiobooks as reading. Yeah, I'll die on that hill for sure. I've read 6 on my Kindle. I just have the basic Kindle. It's not the Paperwhite. I don't even know what version it is. I put a little bow in there, super cute. Pocket back so I can lay on my side and read. But I'll link this Kindle down below because I think it's perfect. Even though it's not the Paperwhite, I love it. I've done a lot of reading on there. And then I read one like hard copy of a book, which is actually behind me. So I'll pull that out. And then I also pulled a summary of each book from the internet because I have a really hard time remembering what the book is about, honestly. So I'm going to read you that, give you my rating, and then tell you my feelings about it. Oh, sorry. One more disclaimer before we get into these books. I am not much of a critical thinker when it comes to reading and rating books. Don't ever clip that and like turn it against me, because I am a critical thinker. Just when it comes to rating a book, I just like wasn't entertaining. That's it. So you're gonna realize that I have some Frida McFadden on here that I know she gets a lot of fucking hate, but do I eat them up? I do. I don't care that a middle schooler could write the book. I eat it up. So just had to preface that. So the first book that I read is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden is a psychological thriller about a woman named Sydney Shaw who thinks she has found the perfect boyfriend, only to suspect he might be a serial killer. As Sydney falls for the charming and handsome doctor, a string of murders of women who have gone on dates with him puzzles the police. The narrative alternates between Sydney's present-day dating life and the boyfriend, Tom's past, building suspense around whether he is the killer or if the true danger lies elsewhere. I'm also have a little cold, can't breathe out of my nose, so talking so much, mouth breather currently. I gave this a 4-star. It was the first read of the year, and honestly, I have an awful time remembering. For some reason, I didn't write a review on Goodreads. I just gave it 4 stars. But I do remember that I thought there was too many twists. Like, at the end, I was just like, what are we doing? And me not remembering much probably, unfortunately, says a lot. Entertaining, but nothing that I'm, like, going on and on about. And then the next book that I read in 2025 is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This book is about a 17-year-old girl named Cassie, a natural at profiling people who is recruited by the FBI for a secret program. This program uses teenagers with exceptional abilities to solve cold cases. Cassie, along with other gifted teens, must navigate their new life, build relationships, and use their unique styles to catch a serial killer who is now targeting them and is eerily connected to Cassie's mother's unsolved murder. This book, I gave 4 stars. I read it on my Kindle. Oh, I also read the last book on my Kindle. Did I say that? Read it on my Kindle. I read this because everyone's saying, if you love Criminal Minds, you're gonna love this. True, it was true. It was all true. I loved it. But I only gave it 4 stars because it's the first book of a series, and sometimes to get that like world building, even if it's not fantasy, to get that world building just kind of is slow at the beginning, which is totally fine. But it just doesn't make it 5 stars for me. The next book that I read this year is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This one is a romance novel about Dr. Brianna Ortiz, whose life is in chaos after a divorce and whose brother desperately needs a kidney transplant. She clashes with Dr. Jacob Maddox, a new doctor at her hospital, but an unexpected exchange of letters reveals Jacob's kind and anxious nature. As their connection deepens, Jacob unexpectedly becomes a match to donate a kidney to Brianna's brother, leading them to agree to a fake dating arrangement for his brother's wedding, which soon turns into a real relationship as they navigate their personal issues and growing feelings for each other. So, fake dating trope. This is, I think, my first fake dating book ever. I enjoyed it. I really did. I read it on my Kindle. I gave it 4 stars. The banter was so good. This book, unfortunately, fell at the end of a really good reading high for me. And it wasn't because of the book. I had just read so many in a couple months. And like I said earlier, it just kind of unfortunately is where I started to get burnt out. And then I didn't read for a couple months and I picked it back up. And then I really finished it and really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars just because I lost momentum. And it's not the book's fault. It's just my fault. But when you take so long of a pause in the middle of a book, it's hard to feel all the joy of it. So that was my fault. I need to stop doing that. The next book that I read is actually my first 5-star of the year. And that was The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. And I actually listened to this book. So my first audiobook of the year as well. An elite bodyguard named Hannah Brooks is hired to protect a famous actor, Jack Stapleton, from a stalker. To keep Jack's family from knowing about the threat, Hannah must pretend to be his girlfriend while working on his family's Texas ranch. The arrangement leads to a fake dating scenario where Hannah and Jack unexpectedly fall for each other amidst the high-stake jobs. The book blends romance and humor and themes of vulnerability, personal growth, and overcoming grief. This book was so good. So good. And I loved that, the funny and the giddy parts were so funny and giddy, kicking my feet. I was, on a walk in the park listening to this, and I remember, giggling to myself and being like, oh, and now I'm looking insane on my walk. But then there was also, real emotions that didn't feel, corny to me. It felt real. Not, sometimes I feel when authors don't want a book to be, all happy, they do some sad moments, but they're not, they don't make any sense. This, it all made sense. It all came together perfectly. I must enjoy the fake dating trope, because I really ate this shit up. The next book that I read is called The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I'm sure you've heard of it because I feel like everyone and their mother talks about this book. The 7-Year Slip is a romance novel about Clementine, a book publicist grieving her aunt, who discovers her late aunt's apartment has a magical ability to connect to a man named Ewan from 7 years in the past. The two fall in love during these time-crossed meetings in the apartment, but the novel also explores how they both change over time as Clementine encounters the present-day version of Ewan, leading her to confront grief, accept change, and redefine love. This book, it took me a little bit to understand what the hell was happening, because a magic apartment was whoa. And when I first started reading it, it didn't seem like a book that was going to have any, magic in it. I think they called that magical realism. I think that's what the book girlies say. But I really loved it. It took me, a while just to understand, what the fuck is happening? But then once I understood, it's so damn good. And then while I was writing all these reviews, I looked back on my Goodreads and I gave it a 4 stars. But I'm going to be honest, I think about this book more than I think about any other book that I've ever read, which I think makes it a 5-star. I think it has to happen. So I'm also going to call that a 5-star, which I also read via listening to an audiobook. So maybe I just like things better when I listen to them, because so far my first 2 5-stars of the year, audiobooks. Okay, the next book that I read is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. part of the Hunger Games series, the Hunger Games world. I love the shit out of the Hunger Games. Love it. And I'm actually sad that we have to wait a whole year for this movie, but it'll be worth the wait. This was the only book that I read, like, hard copy this year. I love it. Dare I need to say that it's a 5-star. But, okay. Sunrise on the Reaping is a prequel to the Hunger Games that follows a 16-year-old Haymitch. I just love him. On the morning of the 50th annual Hunger Games, the second quarter quell. Because it's a quarter quell, 2 tributes from each district are chosen, and Haymitch's name is called after another tribute attempts to escape and is killed. The story details his journey of the capital and the games themselves. This book is so good. And, like, I'm gonna be honest, at some times during this book, it was hard to focus on the actual plot of the book because I was so focused on all of the connections that I was making to, like, Katniss and her family and her dad and all of the characters when we see them in Katniss's games, like, seeing them as younger versions. All of the parallels, like, my jaw was on the fucking floor. On the fucking floor. The whole time I read this book. So definitely with the Hunger Games books, if you ever decide to pick them up and you never have before, please, 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 I'm begging you, read them in release order, not in timeline order. So, like, read the first Hunger Games, which is Katniss's, and then we're gonna go through the second Hunger Games of Katniss, the third book, and then you're gonna go all the way back to The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And then you're gonna read Haymitch's book. Yeah, you really... Where's my other book? I have Catching Fire somewhere. I don't know where it is. But I've got them all right here. I have them on my shelf in timeline order, because it just makes sense to me. But if you're reading them, please read them in release order. The next book that I read is Local Woman Missing. Did I say that right? Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. This one is a psychological thriller about the disappearances of 2 women, Shelby Thibault and Meredith Dickey, and their 6-year-old daughter, Delilah. Wait, no. Her 6-year-old daughter, Delilah. So Shelby went missing, Meredith, and Meredith's daughter, Delilah. The plot is told from various perspectives and timelines, as the case goes cold before Delilah shockingly reappears 11 years later, leading to the revelation of shocking secrets about what happened to the women. I read this book on my Kindle. I gave it 5 stars. When the big plot twist happens, I vividly remember laying in my bed, and I sprung up out of bed, and I screamed, and I galloped around my room, and I was like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, was my reaction. It's so good. Genuinely, it's so good. Whew, so good. The next book that I read, I also read on my Kindle, which is Death Row, also by Frida McFadden. I gave this one 5 stars as well. Death Row is a short psychological thriller about Talia Kemper, a woman on death row for murdering her husband, Noel. As her execution date nears, Talia has a vision of seeing her dead husband alive in the prison's visiting area, which forces her to confront the possibility that he might be alive, leading to a desperate race for the truth. The story, part of the Alibis collection, uses Talia's unreliable perspective and dreamlike flashbacks to explore themes of deception, trauma, and perception, ultimately revealing a shocking twist about Talia's condition. This was 5 stars. It's super short. It's part of, I think, a short story collection. It's part of, like, the Alibis collection by Frida McFadden, but I think they're all, like, shorter stories. Or, like, novellas. But it was short and sweet, but it was also jaw-dropping at the end. Like, bitch, what the fuck? I super recommend this if you are in a reading slump and need something quick, easy, again, like, what the fuck, but also you can't be a Frida McFadden hater, you know? Because if you're just reading it the whole time thinking, like, this sucks, then, like, don't put yourself through that. The next book that I read is called That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. I actually listened to this book, so this was another audiobook. That's Not My Name is a young adult thriller that follows two alternating storylines. A teenage girl with amnesia who wakes up by a road and is taken in by a man claiming to be her father, and her boyfriend who is the prime suspect in her disappearance. As the girl slowly regains memories, she starts to question her supposed father's motives, while her boyfriend Drew races to find his missing girlfriend Lola and clear his name. This book I recommend maybe as an audiobook. The way that it was read, it's such a good story. Unbelievable. Truly, I did not see the twist coming, but also I kind of just read things for the enjoyment. I'm not like trying to figure it out. But holy shit, it's so good. There's so many moving parts in the dual timeline and like the dual perspectives, and it all like starts out here and then it slowly meshes together, and at the end, like, it's insane. And it's also infuriating to read, but like in the best way, where you're like, what the fuck? Because, so, the girl with amnesia, obviously she's believing everything this man is telling her, while we're here, the boyfriend in the alternate perspective, like, we know kind of what's going on. So like seeing all of that, I'm clearly not going to be the next best book reviewer because I can't even get fucking words out. I can't recommend that book enough. 5 stars. Maybe even 6 stars. Maybe even one of those that's like, damn, that's better than the rest. So good. The next book that I read is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This one is a gothic horror novel about a home health aide, Kit McDeer, who takes a job caring for the reclusive and elderly Lenora Hope. Lenora was accused of a gruesome family murder in 1929, and as Kit helps her recount the story through typed confessions, she uncovers a web of secrets and suspects within the decaying cliffside mansion. The novel features a Lizzie Borden-like mystery, with Kit questioning if Lenora is a victim or a monster while navigating the manor's strange staff and history of disappearances. I have lots of mixed feelings about this book. I gave it 4 stars. I listened to this one, so this was another one of my audiobooks. The only reason why I have mixed feelings is because I loved this book so much up until like 85% of the way through. And then the first plot twist comes, and you're like, got it, okay. And then another one comes, and another one comes, and another one comes. And I just felt like the plot twist didn't stop coming, and it was too much. Like, the last couple chapters, or the last, like, percentage of the book, I was like, oh, okay. Like, we could be done now. No more plot twists. I've been twisted enough. So that is why it slightly fell short for me. But, that is totally okay. And then the 11th book that I read in 2025 is The Surrogate Mother, again, by Frida McFadden. This one is a thriller about a woman named Abby who desperately wants a child and accepts an offer from her personal assistant, Monica, to be a surrogate. As the pregnancy progresses, Abby grows suspicious of if Monica is who she actually seems. The story takes a dark turn as Abby investigates and uncovers Monica's sinister secrets in a plot that puts her life and family in jeopardy. Gave this one 3 stars. Read it on my Kindle. I don't know, it pissed me off so bad. This book pissed me off. So there was so much anger because Monica is gaslighting Abby and also her husband, and the husband's like falling for it. I mean, and Abby is too at some point. And like the boss, all the things. And like I thought that it was like building up to be this like great ending. And I was just like pissed for it to just like fall short at the end. So you have to let me know if you thought the build up was worth it or if it wasn't, if you read this book. But yeah, that's going to be my lowest rating of the year. Which 3 stars is really not bad at all. 3 stars is still some stars. So, not angry about that. But yeah, it just fell a little short for me at the end. I don't know if I expected too much since I read it like during spooky season or what, but yeah, I don't know. It's still enjoyable, but not my favorite. Okay, and now we get to talk about my current reads and also what I hope to read for the rest of the year, because I've still got about a month left in the year, so I hope to get some more books under my belt. I've got 2 current reads. The first one is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. I am listening to this one. I'm about 90% of the way through. I'm about to finish it. I think it's going to be a 4-star. I think. It's looking like a 4-star, but the last 10% of a book can change everything, so I won't speak on it too soon. And then I'm also reading How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. I'm actually reading this on my Kindle, but I bought this book last year when it came out because I was super excited about it, and I was supposed to be in a book club. And then I never ended up reading it. Well, I tried. I read some chapters. But I'm about 20% through, and I really like it. I've been reading it every night. It's so fun. It's a play on the Grinch, so it's super silly. You've got to lean into a silly side, because it's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Christmas Town, like, it is just, yeah, you've got to expect some corniness. But I've also heard it gets a little spicy. I've heard about some things happening with a candy cane. I guess I'll report back about the candy cane sitch. But I'm reading this one. And then my last book that I'm hoping to read for the year is going to be the new release that Megan Quinn just put out. Which actually, I can't even remember the name of it. Oh, it's called Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal. I hope to read that as well. So if you want to follow me on Goodreads, you can keep up with all of that. But I'm just excited that I met my reading goal, even if it's a small one. I'm just super happy about that. So, that's all I've got to say. Merry Christmas. Happy Vlogmas. Happy reading, miss. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.